Last time I ranked all 50 American state coats of arms, from worst to best. The response was considerable. Many of you agreed with my assessments. Some of you disagreed, with passion and at length, which Sir Geoffrey respects enormously. Several of you asked, and I am paraphrasing here, what exactly are the rules you keep referring to, and why does Kansas break all of them? An excellent question. The answer requires some explanation. Settle in. Heraldry is not, as many people assume, simply the practice of putting a lion on a shield and calling it a day. Although, to be fair, putting a lion on a shield and calling it a day is an excellent start. The lion is a magnificent heraldic charge, and I will defend it until my second death. No, heraldry is a system. It has a language, a grammar, and a set of rules that developed over centuries of very practical necessity. When you are standing on a battlefield in 1346, covered in mud, surrounded by several thousand men who are all trying to kill each other, you need to be able to identify your allies from your enemies from 50 yards away, in rain, at speed, while also managing a horse. The rules of heraldry exist because visibility is survival. America, which has not fought a medieval battle on home soil and therefore perhaps does not feel the urgency, has treated these rules with what I would diplomatically describe as creative flexibility. Today we are going to learn the rules, all of them, and we are going to illustrate every single one using American state coats of arms, because there is no better classroom than a room full of mistakes. I say this with love, almost entirely with love. Rule 1, the field. We begin at the beginning. Before you put anything on a shield, you must decide what color the shield itself is. In heraldry, we call this the field. The field is your foundation. Everything else sits on top of it. Choose wisely, because you cannot go back now. Here is the first thing you must understand about heraldic color. In heraldry, color is not called color. It is called tincture. This is because heraldry developed in Norman French and Latin, and heraldry has never quite forgiven the English language for existing. There are, in classical heraldry, 7 primary tinctures, 2 metals and 5 colors. The metals are ore, which is gold, and argent, which is silver, usually depicted as white. Think of them as the light tinctures. The 5 colors are gules, red, azure, blue, sable, black, vert, green, and purpure, purple. These are the dark tinctures. That is it. 7 tinctures. Gold, silver, red, blue, black, green, and purple. Now look at the coat of arms of Virginia, a blue field, azure, with a figure in natural colors. Clean, bold, immediately readable. Now look at the coat of arms of Kansas. The field is not a tincture, it is a landscape. There are hills, there is sky, there is a river, there is a sunrise. Kansas has replaced the concept of a field with a painting of the Great Plains. This is not a field, this is a view. Rule 1, your shield needs a field. A field is a single tincture. It is not a landscape. It is not a scene. It is not a depiction of your state's most beloved geographical features. It is a color. Kansas, I am looking at you. Rule 2, the rule of tincture. We arrive now at the single most important rule in all of heraldry. If you remember nothing else from this video, and Sir Geoffrey sincerely hopes you remember considerably more than nothing, remember this: metal on color, color on metal, never metal on metal, never color on color. Allow me to explain. When you place a charge, that is any symbol, animal, or object, on your field, it must be visible, legible. recognizable from a distance. This is, as I have mentioned, a matter of battlefield survival. A gold charge on a gold field is invisible. A blue charge on a black field is nearly invisible. These are not acceptable heraldic choices. These are accidents waiting to happen. The rule of tincture codifies this logic. Dark tinctures, the colors, go on light tinctures, the metals, and light tinctures go on dark. Gold lion on a red field, perfect. Red cross on a white field, excellent. Silver stars on a blue background, magnificent. The arms of the Kingdom of Jerusalem, gold crosses on a silver field, are the most famous exception in all of heraldry. And they are an exception precisely because everyone noticed they were violating the rule. The violation became the point. It was so unusual that it invited inquiry, which was itself considered a heraldic communication. America's violations are not intentional communications. America's violations are simply accidents. Consider Tennessee. The plow and the riverboat sit on a field so cluttered with natural colors, browns and greens and blues all together, that the rule of tincture cannot even be meaningfully applied. You cannot violate a rule if the rule has nowhere to stand. Tennessee did not break the rule of tincture. Tennessee rendered it irrelevant, which is arguably worse. Metal on color, color on metal. Write it somewhere, you will see it, America. Rule 3, charges, keep it simple. A charge is anything you place on the field. Animals, objects, geometric shapes, plants, people, mythological creatures, all of these are charges. And here is the rule about charges. 1, maybe 2, 3 at an absolute push. The purpose of heraldry is identification. You are trying to create a symbol that says immediately and unmistakably, this is me, this is my house, this is my state. Every charge you add makes that harder. The greatest coats of arms in history are simple. England, 3 gold lions on a red field. France, gold fleur-de-lis on a blue field. Scotland, a red lion on a gold field. You could describe any of these in 5 words. You can recognize them in fog. Now I would like to describe the coat of arms of Kansas in 5 words. I cannot. I have tried. There are bison, and a settler's cabin, and a steamboat, and a farmer, and a wagon train, and 34 stars, and a sunrise, and a river, and a man on horseback shooting at the bison. And I want to be very clear about this. There is also a Native American man on horseback, also shooting at the bison. There are 2 separate groups of people shooting at bison. Kansas has more charges on its shield than most medieval armies had soldiers. Rhode Island, by contrast, has 1 charge. A gold anchor on a blue field. 1 anchor. And a word, hope. If you held up Rhode Island's coat of arms and Kansas's coat of arms from 50 yards away, you would immediately recognize Rhode Island's. Kansas's would look like someone had sneezed on a very small painting. The rule is simplicity. 1 charge used well is worth 20 charges used poorly. Most American states chose 20. Rule 4. The parts of an achievement. Now, a coat of arms is not merely a shield, a complete heraldic achievement. The full formal display has several parts, and understanding them is essential to understanding why some American arms work and others do not. The parts are as follows. The shield. This is the foundation. Everything else surrounds it. The helm. A helmet sits atop the shield, indicating rank and status. Most American states omit this, which is fine. It is optional. The crest. This sits on top of the helm, or in America, simply above the shield. The crest is an additional charge that reinforces or extends the shield's meaning. The mantling. This is the decorative cloth flowing from the helm, usually in the principal tinctures of the arms. It was originally a practical object, cloth worn over a knight's helmet to prevent it overheating in the sun, which Sir Geoffrey can confirm was a very real problem. The supporters. These are figures, animals, people, monsters, standing on each side of the shield and, metaphorically, holding it up. They are a mark of distinction, traditionally granted only to peers and senior institutions, and the motto. A short phrase, usually in Latin, appearing on a scroll below the shield. Together, these elements form what is called the achievement. Now, Michigan has supporters, an elk and a moose. I reviewed these in episode 1, and I stand by my assessment that they are magnificent, if slightly absurd. Missouri has 2 grizzly bears, standing upright, holding the shield between them with the serene confidence of animals who have decided that formal ceremony is something they now participate in. New Jersey has Liberty and Ceres, the goddess of agriculture, as supporters. Adopted in 1776. Elegant, appropriate. Done in the middle of a revolution which shows impressive administrative focus. And then there is Tennessee, which has no supporters, no helm, no crest, and no mantling. Tennessee has a shield, 2 labeled objects, and a motto that is also the 2 labeled objects. Tennessee has achieved the minimum possible achievement. I do not say this as a criticism of Tennessee, I say it as an observation. Tennessee knew what it wanted to say and said it with extraordinary efficiency. Whether that efficiency is a virtue or a limitation is a question I leave to you. Rule 5. The Blazon. Here is something that separates real heraldry from everything else. A coat of arms can be described in words, precisely, completely, using a formal language called the Blazon. The Blazon is a set of rules for describing a coat of arms so that any competent herald, anywhere in the world, could reconstruct it exactly from the description alone, without seeing it, without a picture. This is remarkable. This means a coat of arms designed in England in 1350 could be reconstructed in France in 1400 or in Japan in 2024 from the words alone. The Blazon is the DNA of heraldry. The language of Blazon is a mix of Norman French and English, and it follows strict grammatical rules. You begin with the field, azure, blue. Then the primary charge, a lion, rampant. A lion standing on its hind legs, 4 paws raised. Then the tincture of the charge, or gold. So the arms of Scotland blazon as, or a lion, rampant gules. A gold field, with a red lion, rampant, 5 words. 14 centuries of Scottish identity compressed into 5 words. Now let us attempt to blazon Kansas. Azure. No, not azure. It is not a tincture, it is a landscape. On a field representing the Great Plains of the American Midwest, at approximately 10 in the morning in summer, a steamboat proper on a river proper, a settler's cabin proper in the middle ground, a farmer ploughing proper in the left foreground, a group of Native Americans on horseback proper pursuing a herd of bison proper in the right foreground, a wagon train proper departing to the left, 34 mullets, or in the chief, a sun, or rising on the horizon, and in the distance, mountains, also proper. That is not a blazon, that is a novel. Virginia blazons as azure, Virtue standing with her foot on the chest of a fallen tyrant, his crown rolling away, all proper. 1 sentence, 1 image, 1 meaning. The Blazon test is the simplest quality check in heraldry. If you cannot describe your coat of arms in 1 sentence, you have too much on it. Rule 6. Symbolism must mean something. Every charge in heraldry has a meaning, or it should. The lion represents courage, strength, and nobility. The eagle represents authority and vision. The anchor, as Rhode Island understood, represents hope and steadfastness. The pelican in her piety, feeding her young from her own breast, represents self-sacrifice. Louisiana uses the pelican in her piety. It is a medieval Christian symbol of sacrifice that traces back to illuminated manuscripts and carved church walls. Louisiana has carried this symbol from the 14th century, my century, I feel some ownership, to the 21st. Most people who see Louisiana's coat of arms think, that's a bird feeding its babies. That's sweet. But those who know heraldry see 7 centuries of symbolic tradition alive on an American bayou. That is what great heraldic symbolism does. It rewards knowledge. It means something at every level of understanding. Now consider Tennessee, which has labeled its charges. A plow, labeled agriculture. A riverboat, labeled commerce. The label is the admission that the symbol has failed. A plow says agriculture without the label. A plow with a label that says agriculture is saying, I did not trust the symbol to do its work, so I wrote the word next to it. Heraldic symbols should speak for themselves. If they cannot, they are not heraldic symbols. They are illustrations with captions. The best American example of symbolism working perfectly is Virginia. Virtues, the Roman goddess of virtue, standing in armor, spear in hand, foot on the chest of a fallen king, crown rolling away, motto reading Sic semper tyrannis. Thus, always to tyrants, no labels, no captions, no explanatory text. The image says everything. In 1776, at the precise moment of revolution, Virginia designed a coat of arms that said, "We know who we are, we know what we are doing, and we will not be explaining ourselves further." That is heraldic symbolism at its finest. Rule 7. Landscape is not heraldry. I want to address something directly, because it is responsible for the majority of American heraldic failures, and I feel it must be said plainly. Landscape is not heraldry. A picture of mountains is not heraldry. A scene of a farmer in a field is not heraldry. A depiction of your state's most beloved river, bathed in golden morning light with a steamboat on it, is not heraldry. These things are illustrations. They are paintings. They are, and I say this without malice, tourism brochures. Heraldry is symbol, not scene. The difference is this: a heraldic charge is an abstraction. A rampant lion does not look like a real lion. It looks like a heraldic lion, stylized, formalized, reduced to its essential form. You would not mistake it for a photograph of a lion. You would recognize it instantly as the symbol of a lion. A scene of a farmer plowing a field looks like a farmer plowing a field. It is representational. It is a picture. It sits behind a shield-shaped border and pretends to be a coat of arms, but it has not understood the assignment. The states most guilty of this are Kansas, Montana, Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, Alaska, and, I say this with particular exasperation, Tennessee, which labeled its pictures. The states that understood the difference: Rhode Island, Texas, Maryland, Virginia. Rhode Island, 1 charge, symbolic. Texas, 1 charge, symbolic. Maryland, formal heraldic tinctures, symbolic. Virginia, 1 figure, 1 action, 1 meaning, entirely symbolic. All 4 are immediately recognizable. All 4 can be described in 1 sentence. None of them contain a steamboat. I will leave you to draw your own conclusions. Rule 8. The motto. We come finally to the motto. A heraldic motto is not a mission statement. It is not a description of what your state produces. It is not a list of your values in order of importance. A great motto is a compressed philosophy, a battle cry, a promise, a warning. It should be short. Ideally Latin, not because Latin is inherently superior, but because Latin is precise, carries historical weight, and does not date. A motto in Latin sounds as relevant today as it did in 1348. A motto in the vernacular of 1867 can start to sound like a telegram. Let us examine the spectrum. At the top, Virginia, sic semper tyrannis. Thus, always to tyrants. 4 words, a complete political philosophy. A promise made in the moment of revolution and kept ever since. Perfect. North Carolina, esse quam videri. To be rather than to seem. A Cicero quotation. 4 words, a complete ethical framework. Excellent. Rhode Island, hope. 1 word, no Latin required. The single most confident motto in American heraldry. Rhode Island needed only 1 word, and chose the right one. West Virginia, Montani semper liberi. Mountaineers are always free. 3 Latin words. A declaration of character specific to the place. Very good. And then, Iowa. Our liberties we prize, and our rights we will maintain. 17 words. Iowa has written a motto that is 17 words long. I had signed treaties shorter than that. I once negotiated the surrender of a small castle in fewer words. 17 words is not a motto. 17 words is a paragraph. 17 words suggests that Iowa had considerable difficulty deciding what it actually stood for, and elected to include everything, just in case. Tennessee's motto is agriculture and commerce, which is also the labels on the 2 items on the shield, which means Tennessee's motto and Tennessee's imagery are saying exactly the same thing twice, in case you missed it the first time. Montana's motto is oro y plata, gold and silver, in Spanish. Montana is not in Spain. Montana has never been in Spain. Montana's relationship with the Spanish language is at best historical and at worst unexplained. The rule of the motto, short, meaningful, specific, ideally Latin. It should say something that only your state would say, something that would be wrong on anyone else's shield. Sic semper tyrannis belongs to Virginia. Esse quam videri belongs to North Carolina. Hope belongs to Rhode Island. What belongs to you? We have covered 8 rules today. The field, a single tincture, not a landscape. The rule of tincture, metal on color, color on metal, never like on like. Charges, 1 or 2, used well, not 20 used poorly. The achievement, shield, helm, crest, mantling, supporters motto, use what serves you. The blazon. If you cannot describe it in 1 sentence, you have too much. Symbolism. Charges must mean something, and must mean it without labels. Landscape versus heraldry. Symbols, not scenes. The motto. Short, meaningful, specific, and ideally in a language that was already ancient when your state was founded. Apply these 8 rules to the 50 state coats of arms we examined last time, and the rankings begin to make sense. Virginia passes every test, every single one. It has a clean field. Its charge obeys the rule of tincture. It has 1 primary charge, used with devastating effect. Its symbolism requires no labels. It is not a landscape. Its motto is 4 words of perfect Latin that have meant exactly what they mean now since the day they were written. Kansas fails, most of them. Not because Kansas is a bad state. I have no opinion on Kansas as a place, and I understand it has excellent wheat. But because whoever designed its coat of arms looked at the rules of heraldry, and then looked at the Great Plains, and chose the Great Plains. The good news is that these rules are not complicated. They are not secret. They have been freely available since approximately the 12th century. The better news is that several American states did get it right, and we will continue to examine them, and the ones that did not, and everything in between, on this channel. I am Sir Geoffrey Blackwell-Dunmore of Chester. This has been the Rules of Heraldry, class dismissed. Kansas, please see me after. Next time on Dunmoria the Lion. It is on the arms of England, Scotland, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Belgium, Bulgaria, Ethiopia, and, by my count, approximately 40% of all coats of arms ever designed. Why? Where did it start? Who put the first lion on the first shield? And did they have any idea what they were starting? The answers are more interesting than you expect. Subscribe. A fortnight. Sir Geoffrey will be waiting. He has been waiting since 1348. A fortnight is nothing.